The Shadow Killer Who Walked Among Us begins with a town that looked completely normal from the outside. A quiet place where children rode bicycles, neighbors waved to each other, and people left their doors unlocked at night. But deep inside this peaceful-looking town, something dark lived among them. Something no one understood. Something they called the Shadow Killer. For years, he walked the same streets everyone else walked, stood in the same grocery lines, maybe even smiled at the same people he later watched through their windows in the dead of night. Because the truth is, the Shadow Killer wasn't a ghost, a monster, or a legend. He was a real person. A man who learned how to disappear in plain sight. The story begins in 2002, when a young couple, Daniel and Mia, returned home from dinner. Everything in their house looked normal, except for one thing. On their living room table was a single, perfectly folded piece of black cloth. They hadn't left it there. No one had the keys, and nothing was stolen. The police searched the house, but there were no fingerprints, no footprints, no signs of forced entry. It felt like the intruder appeared and vanished, like a shadow slipping through the cracks. A few weeks later, an elderly man named Walter reported something even stranger. Every night at exactly 3:11 a.m., he heard soft tapping on his bedroom window. 3 taps, always the same pattern. But when he gathered the courage to pull back the curtain, there was nothing. No one. Not even footsteps in the dirt outside. People started whispering maybe the intruder wasn't a thief. Maybe he was studying people, learning their patterns, their fears, their weaknesses. Then came the first disappearance. A high school teacher named Lydia Harper didn't show up for work one morning. Her car was still in the driveway. The doors were locked. Nothing inside the house was disturbed, except the bedroom, where the pillows had been arranged into the shape of a person sleeping, as if someone had been there, watching her, standing over her bed. On the wall near the window was a symbol drawn in dust, a long vertical line with 2 smaller lines branching off like broken arms. The police had no idea what it meant. Over the next 4 years, more cases followed. Doors found open at night. A child's toy placed on the center of a kitchen table. A camera moved slightly to face a bedroom door. Nothing stolen, no messages, just silent warnings. People started calling him the Shadow Killer, not because he killed often, but because whenever someone did disappear, the only clue was that same strange symbol, and the chilling knowledge that he had been inside their home long before. By 2007, fear had taken over the town. Parents slept with lights on. People installed cameras, alarms, even motion sensors, but nothing caught him. The cameras would glitch at the exact moment he entered a room, showing only static, like his presence disturbed the electronics themselves. One night, a woman named Karen woke to the sound of heavy breathing. Not hers, not her husband's, but coming from the hallway. When she stepped out, she saw someone standing at the other end, a tall figure, perfectly still facing her. His face was hidden in the darkness, yet she could feel him staring, watching. Before she could scream, he turned the corner. When she ran after him, he was gone. No doors were open, no windows. Just the faint smell of damp earth, like he had brought the night inside with him. Investigators believed he knew the area too well, the woods, the empty fields, the abandoned barns. He moved through them like they were part of his body, slipping from shadow to shadow, listening, waiting. The only person who ever saw his face clearly was a delivery driver late one icy November night. His truck headlights caught a figure walking slowly along the side of the road, tall, dressed in black, carrying the same symbol carved into a wooden plank. The driver rolled down the window to ask if he needed help, but as soon as the man turned toward him, the driver froze. He said later that the man's face looked normal, except for the eyes. Cold, empty, as if there was nothing behind them. Not anger, not fear, just stillness. By the time the driver blinked, The man had stepped off the road and disappeared into the tree line, leaving not a single footprint in the frost. And then, just like that, the sighting stopped. Some believe he died. Some say he moved to another town. Others claim he still walks the forest at night, studying strangers the way a hunter studies prey. But one thing remained true. He was real. He lived among them. He breathed the same air, walked the same streets, and watched the same people who never realized a killer stood inches away.